Welcome to the Highline Herd podcast, where we dive deep into the world of horses and the people who love them. Join us for new episodes every Sunday as we explore everything from horse care, riding tips, and anything else equestrian related. To keep up with the herd, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Highline Herd and visit our website at thehighlineherd.com.
Welcome to the Highline Herd. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Skylar.
And today we're going to be covering horse camping.
Woo!
What we pack, what we found works. Now, this is all going to be based off of our experiences and trial runs we've done.
Yes.
There's always more to learn. There's always different situations that require different things. This list will be expanding as we go through our lives with our horses, as we go through the next few years, packing and camping, because it is our personal goal to spend at least 2 weeks in the backcountry, in the wilderness, packing with our horses. Miles from civilization, miles from service.
Oh,
That's
yes.
that our goal is to go back in time. So this list will be expanding. It will be changing. So if you want an updated one down the line, we are more than happy to give it.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned trial runs. All of this was born from
a trial run on my property.
Yep. We wanted to make sure our boys would highline. We wanted to make sure that they would be okay with fire,
overnight camping,
and a tent.
Yes.
We wanted to make sure they could see us, take it down, and put it up.
Yes.
So
that experience is what shaped a lot of everything going forward and how all of our camping trips since have gone.
Absolutely. And that trial run was crucial for us. One, it showed us exactly how our boys are going to behave.
Yes.
But two, it also showed us what we were missing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we learned a lot of what not to do and how to do things better from that trial run, which is the purpose of doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to add, there is no shame whatsoever for doing that. For doing your own trial runs, whether it be anything.
Absolutely.
It doesn't...
You need to know that you and your horse are best equipped for whatever situation comes up.
Exactly.
So if you can recreate a situation safely in a controlled environment, do it.
Yes.
If you want to see if your horse will tie to a highline or if he'll hobble out in the wilderness overnight, staying on your property where you know if he gets loose, he can just go back to the barn.
Yeah.
Where you know if something happens, your vet can get to you ASAP. Great.
Or heck, even in a controlled environment, camping in your arena or
that'll
someplace.
Tell you making sure your equipment's up to date too is just as important. So this episode's really going to touch on, we're going to completely gloss over our trial run. We're going to spend most of our time focusing on what we personally have learned is important to have on hand, either through our personal experience or learning from others, because we learn more from other people, whether we want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
We learn a ton by watching, and Skylar and I are going to be going to a clinic this year to learn specifically about packing
and camping, on horseback.
So this list is constantly going to be changing and evolving.
We'll probably do a lot more episodes, basically like touch basing on this. Further down the line, as well as our knowledge grows.
Right, but some of these are just basic foundational things, starting with the most important, your horse's health information, their Coggins paperwork, their vaccine paperwork, any allergies or prior injuries or diseases that, you may need to have on hand. One, a lot of sites will require it.
Yeah.
A lot of sites will require a negative Coggins and proof of certain vaccinations.
Well, even to cross state boundaries, too.
And yes, when you cross state lines, they can pull you over and ask for documentation on your animal.
Yes.
Either, depending on the area, proof of ownership, proof of vaccinations, proof of negative Coggins, whatever.
And you never want to be caught on the wrong end of that and not be prepared.
No. So having that paperwork on hand helps you for a variety of reasons. One, getting pulled over and checked.
Yes.
Two, any site you go to is going to want that paperwork. But three, and this is worst case scenario, but it's better to be prepared. If you do have to visit a vet out of state, if you do have to visit a vet or an equine hospital that is not your regular,
Yeah.
you having all that information immediately on hand to handle them right then and there is going to speed up your horse's treatment and recovery.
Exactly.
So that is the number one biggest thing. Make sure you have your horse's documents on hand.
Yep.
And that ties into, I mean, that's vet stuff. So if we're going to start with vet stuff, let's start with wound care. Let's start with what we keep in the trailer. Let's start with what we keep in our saddlebags.
So we have, both for on the trail and in the trailer, we have multiple different, like, vet kits, so to say. So let's talk about what's inside of them.
Yeah. So my trailer is the one we mainly use. So I keep, it's like the size of a milk crate. But that is my trailer crate. Anything I need medically goes in that crate. Their health documents, wound care, grooming tools will go in there. It's my trailer box, though. And what I usually keep in there is I usually keep some kind of bandaging. You want to be able to keep multiple rolls of vet wrap. Don't think you're just going to be okay with one or two. Make sure you have multiple things of vet wrap with you.
Yeah.
And then, you can't put vet wrap on a blind wound, so you have to make sure you have some kind of gauze or padding. And
honestly, the best padding that I've found for emergency things, maxi pads, overnight pads, like feminine pads.
They'll stick to the vet wrap so you're not fumbling trying to get it on there.
Yes, they won't stick to the horse's skin. They'll collect the blood.
They're sanitary, super absorbent.
Yeah.
There's
if we trust it to go down there, like, we can trust it to go on our horses.
Right. Down there's pretty stinking sensitive. So
yeah,
we got to be able to trust it with our horses. But that's your worst case scenario wound cover is, some kind of pad and wound cover. But say your horse's injury isn't severe enough to need that. You're still going to need some kind of ointment, some kind of binder, some kind of blood stopper, depending.
Yes.
So, I know in terms of, like, quick wound covers for minor wounds, Blue Coat, Scarlet Oil, Silver Spray. If you just need to cover that, if it's a minor wound and you just need to cover it quick, those are some great choices to have on hand. I personally love Blue Coat. I've used Silver Honey a few times, but I'm not a fan. I find it too runny. It doesn't stay on the wound well enough.
Well, and that's kind of how I feel with, like, Wonder Dust.
I like Wonder Dust for feet.
Yeah.
If I have, like, so Valor ripped open his heel bulb doing something. I started him out with Furazone, but then I was putting Wonder Dust on it to help it dry out towards the end. The initial worst of the healing was over. It just needed to dry and properly scab.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's where Wonder Dust comes into play. I've never used it on another part of their body because, the application of it is not great.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, but for feet, I love it. I love Wonder Dust for feet. But that's a good blood. If you put it in your hand or on a pad and put it on the wound, I'm sure it would work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably a lot better.
Yeah. But that little squeeze nozzle, yeah. But that's your, vet wrap, gauze, some kind of wound cover if you don't need those. Yeah.
There's I can't remember the brand, but I use a liquid bandage almost for horses, and it's got iodine in it as well, so it helps kind of clean that area while protecting it.
A lot of these recommendations are also assuming you're okay with your horse being a different color for a while.
That too.
We know it's probably gonna scar, but he might be blue or pink for a while.
We're not shy of changing our horse's color just in the interim of making sure they're okay.
I mean, if Valor wasn't black this past summer, his back would have been blue from all the Blue Coat I put on him for the horsefly welts. And, some other wound care options, if you're not looking for a quick cover bandage, you just want something to sit on the wound overnight to help promote healing and reduce scarring, you can use things like Corona or Furazone. Those are my two go-tos. I use Corona more than Furazone. I find Corona's it's a lot gentler, and it doesn't have as many quote-unquote side effects, I guess, for lack of a better phrasing. Yeah. So if I'm wrapping a more serious wound, I do it with Corona, or I'll put Corona on there, give it a second to dry, and cover it with some silver spray.
Mm-hmm.
Corona is my go-to for anything that's more than just a minor rub.
Oh.
For minor rubs, abrasions, bald spots, I use diaper cream. Just like what we do on people.
Yeah.
There's so many... You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on this kit. Get yourself some good diaper cream. Get yourself, some feminine pads. Get yourself some vet wrap. And that will honestly cover a lot of bases.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you don't want to, but you could put diaper cream on a deeper wound.
Yeah.
If you had to.
Heck, if you need to get like a little container of rubbing alcohol or
Right.
iodine, do that too.
Not a little container. Take the whole, depending on the length of your trip, take the bottle. You never know.
Well, I say little container. Little container for me is like a big bottle.
Right. We're over here
Yeah.
with our 30 ounces.
Horse
like,
size.
Yeah. Here's our little bottle of iodine we travel with. And it's, takes up half the trailer or whatever.
A little bottle's like 5 inches tall or
Yeah.
something.
So those are, kind of our wound stuff. Kind of what we would like to keep on hand.
Yeah. And any type of vet kit is very, very important. You don't want to be going somewhere with your horse without at least a little bit of protection. And
You need something. Oh, another one too that I love, and I just did the research this past year, and it's great. It tails into all of this very, very well. Bactine. So I personally have a ton of tattoos. What I've used to help my healing process on my tattoos has been Bactine. A little bit of Bactine to help clean it as an antiseptic, and then a little bit of Aquaphor to protect and seal.
Mm-hmm.
But you can use Bactine on horses. So,
yeah. Okay.
when you're not quite when you're on the fence about using something stronger like Blue Code or Corona, you just think it needs a little bit of something to make it clean, spray some Bactine on there.
Huh.
And that'll at least get you back to the trailhead to fully evaluate. The wound's been cleaned and, disinfected. So Bactine, that's one of my main trailer things. I keep vet wrap, Bactine, and diaper cream in my trailer. Mm-hmm. Because that covers most of my trailer bases.
Yeah.
If I'm camping, I want, a little bit more in depth. Like we said, multiple rolls of vet wrap, some kind of padding.
Mm-hmm.
So
now I do want to take note too, just for a second. Yes, we've gone into the horse vet supplies, but don't forget about the human as well. Now, a lot of the stuff you can use,
right,
as well if you really needed to, but it's always good to have a first aid kit for people on hand as well.
I know Skylar always keeps a minimum of 2.
I have 2. I have one in my saddlebag and one stays with my
Yep. So while we are focusing on equine in this episode with our pack list, yeah, you definitely can't discount the human. Your horse wouldn't be there without you. Your horse isn't going to get anywhere without you.
Yep.
Your horse isn't going to get fed without you. You got to stay healthy, stay functioning. You got to
take care of yourself. Which sometimes we go into trips, and this is what we've learned too, is we'll go into a trip and then we'll be like, well, we have everything for our horses, but we need this for ourselves.
Yeah.
Next time, let's bring this for ourselves. So it's the us factor that we are still working on, getting everything, narrowed down. And
I know for our next trip, I'm gonna be packing my pain patches. I regret not packing those last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to think about yourself. You got to think about your horse. Oh, speaking of just pain preventative, this is a personal preference. I like to bring liniment with me when we go on our hard trail rides.
You can use it on horses and you can use it on people.
Yep.
Yes.
It'll help with all of those aching, inflamed joints and muscles. That is one of my personals. I always pack it. Yeah. That reminds me, I need to buy a new bottle.
Well, and also something that I've noticed for liniment too, if you're using it on a horse, if you wet down the area first with cool water and then put the liniment on, it has a better effect. Same with people. If you take a dip in the creek and then get out and put liniment on, and as that water is drying, it's going to be cold. It is going to be freezing cold, but it is going to feel great in a little bit.
Yeah. So those are kind of our horse healthcare basics.
Yes.
So on the topic of horse care, let's talk about food. how we encourage them to drink when we're traveling.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah. I know this is something that people go, I actually, like, I find it hard to believe, but it is actually something people go back and forth on. Hay in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I always give my guys hay in the trailer. I travel with hay. We always pack extra bales. They always have some kind of hay in front of them. If we're throwing them a loose flake while we go shower really quick before we hit the trail, you know, if we're giving them a full bag overnight, our guys always have hay in front of them. Mm-hmm. You are going to be so much happier taking home an extra bale than being on day 3 of a 5-day trip
and not having enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always want to pack more. And that's something too, like, that I'm getting used to, because I have grown up with horses, and like, I always was told, you're not supposed to feed them in the trailer, it's not good for them, and I never really knew why. So I just never fed them in the trailer. But after riding around with you and trailering with you, I prefer letting them have hay if they'll have enough, like, headroom, obviously.
So I know what I've seen, and we can do more research on this. If you guys want us to make an episode about hay in the trailer, we absolutely can. We'll do our due diligence. But I know what I've personally heard is some people believe they are more likely to develop pneumonia and travel-related illnesses because of hay in the trailer, because they can't clear their airways. But I also think that has to do with how you tie your horse's head, how much headroom they have. Do they have the ability to properly cough and drain their airways?
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're traveling with horses, you're supposed to stop every few hours anyway and give them a break. So when you do that, you could try to give them some headroom.
Yeah.
Depending on your trailer setup.
Drop the windows, let them see out. Yeah, get some fresh air.
So, you know, that's hay. Always have extra hay.
Yes.
You're going to be so much happier taking 2 full nets home than, you know, grumpy horses because they haven't
hungry.
Yeah, that haven't had hay in a day and a half. So you always want to have hay with you. Mm-hmm. The other benefit to hay is they're going to drink more.
Yes.
When horses get in strange places, sometimes they stop drinking. So with that in mind, you can do things like adding electrolytes and wetting their feed. Gain some extra fluids in them, gain some extra electrolytes in them so they do drink more, so they are more hydrated for those hard days on the trail.
Yes. Yeah. Having the energy and having the water is very important. And I know some horses don't drink. And we can go into more detail possibly in another episode. But having different water options or being prepared if your horse is a picky drinker is always a good idea.
And, you know, you can either use like she said, there's another episode we'll probably do later down the line regarding water and getting horses to drink, but usually campsites have multiple options and you may have to go through all of them.
Yeah, just depends. Yeah, but just be prepared.
Yeah, having electrolytes on hand, having hay on hand, keeping these guys drinking is going to be your best friend traveling and camping with them.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helps us tie into, don't change their feed when you're camping.
No.
When you're traveling, when you know you're going to travel, don't change their feed. Don't change their quantity. Don't change anything.
Yeah. If anything, maybe give them a little bit more if you're going to be trail riding extensively, or they're going to be burning off more than what they normally do.
Or I know, like, my vet recommends, you know, traveling with Ulcer Guard if you have a horse prone to ulcers. Yeah. Or giving them Pepto-Bismol to help soothe their stomachs.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to be buying a jug here for Valor. Just as an extra, like, soothe the stomach measure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we travel.
That's smart. Yeah.
So if you've got a horse prone to ulcers or prone to just, you know, upset tummies over traveling, those are both good options for you.
Yes.
And since we're still focused on the horses and caring for them, let's talk about, you know,
their grooming stuff.
Yeah. Stuff we bring to help keep them clean. And
so my like basic bare bones, if I were to be just needing a couple of things, I would want a soft brush, a hard brush, a curry comb, and at least 3 hoof picks.
And I'm going to specify here, you specifically want a rubber curry.
Yes, sorry. Not a metal curry, a rubber curry. Maybe if it was like the winter time, a metal curry would be a little bit more useful
as an extra option, but I would
still want a rubber.
Yeah. I know, speaking personally, Valor's not the biggest fan of metal curries.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually doing better with them this year than last year.
It's a more of trust your horse, and if you know
Yeah.
that they're sensitive to certain feelings, go off of that. But you want to have different options for grooming in case there's mud.
Well, like
in
you
case there's
said, like
sweat.
that's your bare bones kit.
Yes.
Your ideal kit, you're gonna have a sweat scraper. You're gonna have some way to flick that sweat off or the excess water.
It's called your hands.
Or I know my preference is now, after reading some stuff, is I let my guys, I hose them down till they're sopping, dripping wet, and I let the sun dry them.
Yes.
Temperature permitting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If it's
no,
like,
I do prefer that as well.
yeah, that extra evaporation can help cool them, believe it or not.
Yeah. No, I could see it.
So, like, bare bones kit, is hoof pick, both your brushes, and a good curry.
And I want to specify too for the hoof picks. It's a good idea to have variety. Yes, I prefer the metal, like the full metal ones that are like one piece that are bent. I know you like the part the like the rubber.
I like the plastic ones with
plastic
the brush.
with the brush. Yes. It's just based upon what you like, but having a variety will help you be able to, use them in different ways. But I prefer to have one at camp, one in a saddlebag, and one on a person on the trail.
Yes, for sure. Those hoof picks are going to come in handy for so many reasons, not just your horse's feet. I've had to use them to undo leather.
Yeah.
I've had to use them to undo knots.
Yeah.
Like, they are a crucial tool when you are traveling with these guys. When you are trail riding with them. When you, like, packing, I imagine a hoof pick is
your best friend.
Yeah. Tie it around your neck kind of thing.
Yeah. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
Well, and one that I really like now is I'm still, like, learning everything about it, and I'm still new to using it, but a pocket knife with a hoof pick on it. And that's another tool that we'll go into a little bit later, but knives are very important as well.
Yeah, that's more people-based. That'll probably be, if you guys are interested, another episode.
Yeah. We want to focus on the horses in this one.
We do. There's so much more information out there on the people side of it.
Yeah. There's so many backpackers, hikers, etc. that have this information out there. So do your research if this is something that you want to do or something you are doing.
Yeah, we're just focusing on the horses here.
Yep.
We're focusing on, all the vet stuff we want to carry, the vet wrap, the pads, the ointments. We want to focus on, making sure keep hay in front of them, keep them drinking, don't change their food.
Yeah.
Because I know my guy will eat his food as a soup. Sometimes I wonder if he prefers it as a soup.
Probably, knowing him.
Yeah. But that's one of the ways I'm like, I can go into my, trail ride confident he got some fluids in him.
Yeah.
If his breakfast or his dinner's wet. So, that's kind of touching on the horse's care a little bit. But, what do the horses wear? Halters, tack, lead ropes. Yes.
So for halters, definitely, I know you prefer nylon. I prefer rope halters. But it's down to preference, what your horse is comfortable in, what you're comfortable having them in.
What best suits your situation.
Yes. But account for something happening, that piece of equipment breaking, and bring an extra, or even two.
I was going to say,
including lead ropes. Yes.
I know my rule of thumb is, I'm actually probably overkilling it, but I have an extra halter and lead rope in my truck. I have an extra halter and lead rope in my trailer. Mm-hmm. And I know when we pack for these guys, I know I usually have an extra.
Yeah. No, it does not hurt if you have the room and you're able to carry it, and not have to worry in a backpacking situation where you're really in the backwoods and every item that you have matters. You definitely want to bring extra because it won't hurt you in the long run.
No, extra will definitely do you more harm than good.
Yeah.
Well, more good than harm. Sorry. It'll definitely, having extras of things like halters and lead ropes and vet equipment and hay will be a lifesaver.
Yes.
So,
well, and another thing too is say you have reins and the reins break, say you have a bridle and the bridle breaks, having extra rope to fix that, or leather to fix that.
In the one episode, you offhand mentioned Chance. And when you want to talk about a horse that can break whatever you put on him, he is a master at it. Just this past year, we watched him intentionally, mind you, step through his reins.
Yeah.
And then, he
steps through them and then rips his head forward to break them. He is...
he's special.
Choice words that I will not say.
In that scenario, having an extra bit of rope, having baling twine can be a lifesaver.
Yeah. Just braid up like baling twine like you would emergency paracord rope, and there you go. Throw that in your saddlebag. It's super lightweight. You've got it, just in case. Or heck, if you need to pack and you need to, pony a horse, use baling twine. It'll snap if something happens, or, prevent a wreck from happening, but it's still sturdy enough to keep them together and do what you need to.
Right. So, yeah, that's extra halters, extra vet wrap, extra hay, but are you looking at your tack before you hit the road?
Are you cleaning it? Are you making sure that everything is good to go? The leather's good?
Are you making sure there's no dry rot on your stirrup leathers? I know some people believe nylon wears out the stirrup leathers faster. So if you have a nylon billets, are you checking your leathers?
Yeah. Or even just checking your straps in general.
Yeah. Are you checking your stirrups themselves for any weak points? Are you checking your saddle for mold or weak spots or bridge points? Your horse's saddle fit will change over time, something both of us learned this past year.
Yep.
And so are you checking your saddle to make sure it's still fitting your horse properly for the trip?
Yeah.
Is your girth in good shape? Is your girth is it on its last leg? Does it need cleaned?
Yeah. And it might not even be a bad idea to bring a second girth just in case. If you have an older one that, might be a little bit more prone to the wear and tear, doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt to have an extra girth, extra bridle. Yeah.
All of that.
Although I know both of us are fairly confident our boys would ride off in a halter.
I've rode a lot of horses in just a rope halter and bareback.
Yeah. So you definitely, when you're, traveling with these guys, you definitely want to make sure everything you have is good. You definitely want to make yourself a list and check it. And, since we're talking about gear and tack and checking your tack, check the weather, check the temperatures.
Oh, gosh, yes.
If you're hauling in an open stock like we do, blankets are nice. Our guys
or even coolers.
Yeah. Oh, when they get sweaty and it's cold out, yeah, cooler's great to help absorb
sheets,
some of that sweat.
All of it.
Yeah.
It does not hurt.
And in this cold weather, if you do have to travel in an open stock, having a blanket over top of a cooler is good. Helps keep them a little warm.
Yeah. Do you want to use shipping boots for longer distances? It doesn't hurt. It protects their legs,
Ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure. You spend $50 on shipping boots now, you save yourself $800
of a vet bill. Yeah.
And honestly, I know my vet was on the lower end for that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even 800.
Oof. Yeah.
It was a little less. And that included stitches and x-ray. So, when you're looking at traveling with these guys and you're checking your vet stuff, you're checking your tack, you're checking the feed, the hay, the quantity of what you're bringing, your grooming supplies, don't overlook checking the weather, the temperatures. Do you want something on hand to help them deal with the sweat if it's chilly and they're sweaty?
Yeah.
Do you want something to help keep them warm in the trailer? So don't overlook the little things.
Well, and even too, like something that we learned on one of our excursions is even if the weather says one thing, something totally different could happen. So try to plan ahead for, if you know kind of what season it is, what type of area that you're in and the weather they get.
If you're familiar with the area and you know it has a tendency to shift day of or moment of, then yeah, you definitely want to make sure, it says it's going to be in the 50s, but I'm going to pack for it to be just a little chillier just in case.
Yes.
Because honestly, you and your horse will be happier if you do that.
Yep.
Because if you have a clipped horse and it, you think it's going to be in the 70s all weekend and it dips to the 50s,
That poor horse.
Yeah, your horse might want a quick sheet on or something.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we talked about all of that. We talked about your blankets, but let's touch on one more thing before we go. Your saddlebags.
Yes.
The saddlebags you choose.
Yes.
Why you're choosing them. What type you're getting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's touch on saddlebags really, really quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I know I started out with a pair of nylon saddlebags.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked great for a start. But I realized when we were doing our longer trips that the nylon saddlebags just weren't cutting it.
No.
They were a little flimsier. They weren't going to hold up to it quite as much. But they also weren't big enough, and they didn't stay in the right position that they needed to.
Yeah.
So, but I know you prefer pommel bags.
Not really the pommel bags. I prefer leather.
Oh, well, leather all the way.
Yeah. Leather all the way. I have a pair of old saddlebags that I got for like $20 at a tack swap.
I was going to say, both of us went to a used tack store and like found a great deal on saddlebags.
Yes. And you know, I love these saddlebags. They're probably on their last leg, but you know, I am going to use them until I can't use them anymore. And then I also do have one pommel bag. It's not quite, I wouldn't say it's my favorite go-to. I don't like the way that the straps are because of how it rubs on my saddle, but it is nice for small things like a knife, you know, a compass, a safety equipment.
That is another consideration when you're choosing saddlebags. How do they fit on your saddle?
Exactly.
Are they going to damage your saddle? Are they going to irritate your horse?
Yes.
Because not all horses like all saddlebags.
Yeah.
I know Valor will put up with pretty much anything I put on him. Example A, by putting firewood on him one trip.
Yeah, we carried firewood back. 2 loads of firewood.
Yeah.
On his booty.
Yeah. So he'll put up with just about anything on his back, but you know, some horses might have an irritation to leather saddlebags or nylon saddlebags.
Yeah.
You might have to get creative and use cloth or some kind of fabric.
Or get a saddle pad that covers down further in that area that might be more sensitive.
Like a saddle blanket, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our quick overview of our pack list and why we carry it.
Yes.
We don't want the worst case scenario to happen, but we want to be prepared if it does.
Better be prepared than not and have something happen and you just don't know how to.
An ounce of prevention, pound a cure.
Exactly.
I really would rather spend, you know, $100 now on a blanket, $50 now on shipping boots.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather have to deal with packing 6 rolls of vet wrap than trying to use my shirt to wrap their leg, you know? So
I'll do it, but man.
But if there's an easier way,
yes,
why not do it?
Why not take the extra steps to preparing for that?
Exactly. So that's this episode, is just going over this list. And if there's anything in this you want us to expand on, let us know.
Yeah, and if you want us to do a video or like a podcast on if you want us to do an episode on the human side of camping, we can as well. We can touch base on that. It's not going to be as extensive as what we talked about in this one. But
no. And if, you know, there is a YouTube connected to this, if you want us to show our setups, we could as well.
That would be a nice way to go about it too. Yeah,
do a saddlebag unpacking video. Do, you know, kind of a quick tack check. Do kind of just a, you know, trailer box check. What's in the trailer? Yeah. So, yeah, those are all options, but thank you guys for listening so much.
Yes, thank you.
Anything that you want us to expand on, let us know.
Yep. Until then, we'll see you around. We hope you enjoyed this week's topic. Join us for new episodes every Sunday. And to keep up with the herd, be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Highline Herd and visit our website at thehighlineherd.com. We hope you enjoy the show. See you next week.